We start counting Sefiras HaOmer from the after the second, the Memochras HaShabbos, the day after Pesach, B'tchilas halayla, in the beginning of the night. Why do you do it in the beginning of the night? Because we want it to be Tmimos. What does Tmimos mean? Somebody want to help me out?
Complete.
If I do it later, is it also complete?
Yes.
So why are you so difficult to get along with? Why do you have to do it in the beginning of the night? Did you miss the first part? You think so? I don't know if that's clear. That's what's being said.
You want to do it at the most apropos time to get the most out of the complete.
I like that. I like that. No, there's a pass fail, and there's a grade also. As long as I did it within the required time, and according to some Rishon, that could even be until the end of the day. We just have a suffix whether you have to count the dafka at night. So that day was counted. I would like to share with you a chiddush or a Moshe Feinstein. A lady has to make a hefsek Torah. Many times when a lady makes a hefsek Torah, she has a question on the cloth that she made, and she goes to the rabbi. Let's say she made her bedika let's say she is at 6 o'clock. She made her bedika at 5:45. She lives next door to the rabbi. When should she go to the rabbi to find out the status of that bedika cloth?
She has to do it before 6 o'clock.
Why? She can do it tomorrow also. Either it's okay or it's not okay. Is she in any rush?
It'll definitely make a difference.
Why will it make a difference?
Sometimes the rabbi said that the woman has a.
No, I understand. That's as far as that. It's make a difference because it's practically worthwhile to do.
So sort of count it and then go and ask the question.
Yeah, but so was there any reason? There's the question. The question is: a lady makes a hefsek Torah, and she has a question on the hefsek Torah. Is there any reason right now? Shkia is at 6 o'clock. Right now it's 5:45. Is there any reason for her to run right now to the rabbi? She could wait a half hour. She could wait till tomorrow morning. What does yeah mean? I gave you three choices and yeah. No reason. Oh, here's a guy with an opinion. No reason. Okay? Who's the guy? Who's the guy with reason? We have a guy with no reason. That's it.
Unless she's just very nervous and
yeah, I understand. And maybe if it's good, then she won't have to make another one. If it's no good, she should make another one. But forget about all the practical aspects. I'm thinking about a halachic reason. So if you would have asked me, I would have said I would agree with parrots. But since the minig is not to agree with parrots, so I'll say what the Moshe Feinstein says. The Moshe Feinstein says, Tmimos. You want that all of the Zayin Nikiyim, she has a Yediyah Brura that she's tar. Anybody think of that? Now, what happens if you didn't do that? It's fine. But this Mila of Tmimus, even though I just want to point out the massive chiddush where Moshe Feinstein says, when does a lady count her Zayin Nikiyim? At night or during the day? During the day. But she's really counting from the night. So there's an advantage. I don't know the exact word to use, but it's better if she has the whole time that it's counted biyadiyah, cognizantly knowing that it was tahar. What?
she do when she's sleeping?
Sleep. When a person
She
is,
consciously knows she's further.
you're in an auto. I'm just going to ask. He asked a question. What do you do when you're sleeping? So I said sleep. Now I'm going to ask you a question, parents. I asked my Rashiva Ravitza Soloveitchik this question about 35 years ago, and he didn't answer me, and I'm very happy they didn't answer me because I don't deserve an answer. But you have to know what the answer is. We say that in order to make the mitzvah of yeshiva sukkah, you have to have kavanah, according to many places. And also the halacha is that you have to sleep in the sukkah. How could you sleep with kavanah? And then?
Self-conscious.
You can't have kavanah when you're sleeping. It's important that period that doesn't require kavanah.
What's that? You mean you're potter then? What's that? Just answer. Gil, are you potter then? Or it's called you had kavanah when you're sleeping? I gave you two options, and you didn't accept either of them.
You have kavanah.
Is it correct?
You have kavanah because you're sleeping uncomfortably.
It's not practical to have kavanah.
Why are you sleeping uncomfortably? I put my regular bed in the sukkah.
It's not practical.
Yeah, but you still have the outside weather. You got bugs. You got.
Speak for yourself.
I didn't.
Why am I
I'm
supposed
not
to?
someone that doesn't have bugs in the sukkah.
I don't know. It's not as hot as it is in a Muppet Shemesh in the sukkah. Let's put it that way. Anyways, so the answer to the question, according to many, is that with the kavanah that you had when you went to sleep, it carries over, and it's called you sleeping with kavanah. No, that's a different question. That's a question of whether he's an einus or not. But do you understand what I just said, parents? So you can count Zayin Nikiyim in your sleep too. If you can have kavanah for your sukkah in the sleep, you can have kavanah for Zayin Nikiyim in the sleep. Because if you had kavanah when you went to sleep, then it's counted like you had kavanah when you're sleeping.
It makes us young and cool for everything. So why not say?
First of all, we don't say it. Just 1 second. Shaffer, what would you like?
I would like you to please translate the word tamimos. I came a little late. I didn't hear the definition. I'm sorry.
That's what we're trying to explain. It means complete.
Like tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha, or a se has to be tamim.
The latter. The former is a mutation of the latter. I would just like to explain something to you. I can tell you a word from Chaim Shmulevitz, and I think that this will make this whole subject that much simpler to understand. The story by Eliyahu Bahar Carmel, Klal Yisrael wasn't sure which side of the fence they're on. So the Nevi Habal brought a korban, and Eliyahu brought a korban, and the Medrash says that the two korbanos were twins, and one was going to the Baal, and the other was going to Hashem. And the one that was going to the Baal complained to Eliyahu. He says, "Me and him were brothers. We brought the same. He's going to be brought as a Kiddush Hashem, and I'm a Avodah Zarah. That's not fair." Okay, so what do you answer a cow that has such a good taina?
Yeah,
Hashem also.
Oh, so that's exactly what Eliyahu told him. He said, when we're going to shecht you and the Aish is not going to come down, so it's going to disprove the spoof of the Baal, and you are going to be a Kiddush Hashem. That's what it says in the Medrash. Chaim Shmulevitz asks, this is a Chumash here? No. Chaim Shmulevitz asks that if you look at the pasuk, it says something like "Vayimshech es hapara." He had to forcefully take it. So Chaim Shmulevitz asked, and understand, he explained to him very clearly why his going and being brought to the Baal is a Kiddush Hashem. Why wasn't he willing to go? Why didn't he buy it? Why did the Parah buy what Eliyahu told him? Says of Chaim Shmulevitz, a good lamdish pshat doesn't come close to Pashup Pshat. There's a Pashup Kiddush Hashem, and there's a lamdish Kiddush Hashem. Which one would you rather be? A Pashup Kiddush Hashem. It's, the complaint is still there. So you're right. So it's not a Chil Hashem, it's a Kiddush Hashem. But that's a Lamdish Kiddush Hashem. My brother, he gets to be a Pasha Kiddush Hashem. Sometimes you could have Tmimas that are Lamdish Tmimas, and sometimes you can have Pasha Tmimas. If you get it from the beginning, it's Tmimas because it's Tmimas. From my favorite Hebrew words, Yechiel is here. What's my favorite Hebrew word?
Ki'ilu.
Ki'ilu. If you got it later on the night, it's Ki'ilu, it's Tmimas. Okay, I want to translate that. Right? So that's what it means. That's what it means.
It's
So
not Akev.
it not only is it not Ma'akev, it's called Tmimus. It's not that you don't have Tmimus and it's okay. It's called Tmimus, but it's at a different level.
What does that mean, please?
It means as follows. It means as follows. You have a worker and you tell him you want to be there at 9 o'clock. And there's a grace period until 9:07. He comes every day at 9:06 and 54 seconds. Is he on time?
Yes.
I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you. I asked this to Schaffer. I know, Schaffer. What are you going to say? Is he on time?
No, he's not on time.
See? I know my customers. He's not on time. But is he late?
No, but he came during the grace period. He's not late.
We're aware of all the facts. He's not late and he's not on time.
Correct.
And you ask what Tmimus means?
So, but why call it? Why call if it's not Ma'akev? Why call it Tmimos? Say it's not Ma'akev, and that's the end of it.
We want to have Tmimos in the fullest sense. And if you're lacking, it's not bad enough that it's not called Tmimos. It still passes, but it's not the desired.
So someone who says somewhere before Mariv because to catch that smile is better.
No, because there are different issues. We're supposed to daven early in order to catch that Zman.
Okay.
If a person would really be, okay, but anyways, this is the concept of Tmimos. So it's a truly difficult concept. So here we have it. Even by the lady in the Zion Akim, we have Tmimos. Okay, you have a sphere. You want to have the whole Yom Suffer.
How does she have the whole yom? If she's taking doing the Vidika at 5:45 is Shkia, she went through the whole day.
No. I'm sorry. Your question is correct. I did not explain myself.
Okay.
The day that she has complete is from Shkia until the next day. Not doesn't help for the past day. No, it's today's Tuesday, right? So she did it today at 6:45. She made her B'dika.
Okay.
So if she brings it to the Rav at 5 to 7, so from this evening, 7:06 until Wednesday, 7:07, that day will be coming. Not the Tmimus is going on.
Even though she does the Vidika on a different day than the Tmimus.
Because she has a Vadai Tahira from when the day set in. From I didn't explain something. Not the Tmimus of the past day, it's the Tmimus of the upcoming day. Okay? Which is a fascinating Kiddush. And what happens if you don't have it? You don't have it. And it also works. Just don't have that Milo. All right.
You once quoted us a tshuva, Yud Ches from Eretz Tzvi.
Okay, you have to fill me in. What was it about?
It was about someone who's an onain, and they buried him.
Yeah.
Has to say,
They didn't bury the owner, they buried the nifter, right? Yeah.
and whether or not he has to say Birkas HaTorah again. And then
Correct.
you continue with the tshuva. The next a bar mitzvah boy, the bracha that he makes could count for the previous night.
Correct.
So that's something similar here. If you would count in the day for whatever reason you couldn't count that night, it would go retroactively to the night before, and that would be tamim.
I would like to say that could be so, and there are places where I believe that it is so. Punktus Shabbos, I had a discussion with one of my sons. I don't remember what brought about this discussion. I told them one of the Mishnah Berurahs, which I find extremely difficult to understand, is the Mishnah Berurah says, "Oh, what happened was with Surah Shlishis, we were serving arbis, and one of my daughters wanted some arbis before we washed. We're gonna wash within the next 3 minutes, and one of my boys said, 'You're not allowed to. It's a bracha she'eina tzricha.' So she says, 'But I want it now.' Okay, you know that word? Capital letters. I want it now." So they came to me to referee their debate. And I said, even though you want it now, you will eat it later. Because bracha she'eina tzricha. And I said, I proceeded to tell them the following halacha the Mishnah Berurah says. And I'm a kayim this halacha 6 out of 7 days. 1 day a week, I do not do like it says in the Mishnah Berurah. When I put on my tzitzis in the morning, I do not make a bracha on them. I put on my talis gadol in shul, and I have in mind my talis cotton. Why do I do that? So there are some sources that say because it used to be that their talis cotton was too small. I don't have that issue. My talis cotton is kosher. The other reason why is because of bracha she'eina tzricha, because anyways you're gonna make a bracha on your talis in shul in 5 minutes. So when don't I do this? Shabbos morning. Shabbos morning, because Shabbos morning I wake up. Well, I don't know if you know, here in Avos Shalom, we don't daven so early. I don't know if you're aware of that. I'm up well before they daven, and I'm not putting on my talis for a long while. So I don't do that because it's not. The Mishnah wasn't speaking about my case. He makes it clear if you're going to be a long time, then it's not. You know, if you're going to wash for lunch, doesn't mean you can't have a snack. Then I make a bracha. That's a different pair. So my problem is, why is it a bracha she'eina tzricha? From the time, even if I'm going straight to shul, from the time I put on my talis cotton in my house until I get to shul, will take 6 minutes, minimal. 1 second, 6 minutes. That 6 minutes, am I wearing my tzitzis with a bracha or without a bracha?
Without a bracha.
What?
Without a bracha.
So that what's eina tzricha? I want to do a mitzvah with a bracha.
Well, what about over Lasiyasa?
Oh, how do you know? That's exactly what we're trying to say. How do you know that? You can't. That's circular logic. It's like that because my wife said so. What kind of answer is that? That's what I'm saying. How does that work? How says that it works? And I eat an apple, and I'll make a bracha by the end, and have in mind the part that I had beforehand. It's work retroactively, and I do it every day. So now it works. Why does it only work by tzitzis?
Can you have negative kavanah? The Rav discussed.
And that's why you don't make a bracha on a yarmulke, because they're going to record this.
The Rav discussed negative kavanah a few times. Can a person have negative kavanah?
You can have negative kavanah.
You can have in mind tzitzis and that he's not have this is for this, and my talis is not going to be more to this.
Could be you can do that. Could be you can do it. But that's not what the Mishnah Berurah says. But I have a question on the Mishnah Berurah, and I don't really have an answer to the question.
You put on your tzitzis going but seeking, you can't make the bracha until you get to shul.
What are you talking about?
No, during the week.
What are you talking about? I do it every day.
What, you
Make a shiakir as well.
you can still make the bracha already.
Way
Only
before.
during slichas, yeah.
Mashiach.
I'll tell you something. Shabbos, from the time they start davening until Shemona Esrei, is a minimum of 45 minutes. And the weekdays, you start davening, it's 25 minutes. All right? Now, even on Shabbos, it's well after Mishiaker. Mishiaker is an hour. What?
About an hour and a couple of minutes.
Okay, whatever. It's okay, unless you're really super long davening. That you don't have that problem. If you're those people that come from where I come from in Detroit, where sunrise is almost at Chatzos. So, as my nephew says, I'm up to my 3rd coffee before Baal Shamar. But sunrise could be at 7:45 or something like that, 8 o'clock. What?
Sunset's like 9:45 to 10:10.
Yeah, it's such a crazy place. Mitzvah, those who come from England have it much worse. But anyways, so there you have this. You have that. There they put on the talis and tefillin sometimes by Yishtabach after Yishtabach. Terach's minion. They don't have a choice. They daven early. They daven what's called terach for all those who know what that is, and then bara.
What about
Yeah.
what about over Lasioso?
What about over last year?
You're putting on your talus cotton, and you're not making a bracha. I mean, shouldn't you?
Really, it's not such a big deal to do a mitzvah without a bracha. I know you're going to throw your fun at me, but it seems that it's not such a big deal to do a mitzvah.
I want to ask you a question. Do you think that that's the answer to the question?
I would be very happy if that would be the answer to the question.
I have a Mishnah in Peah that Trumas says Mefurish not like that. The Mishnah says a person who cannot make a bracha should not do the mitzvah.
That's with any mitzvah.
It seems to me that's all the place can learn from there to any mitzvah. Now, if you don't have a choice, it's not going. Mitzvah is going to not be able to be makan the mitzvah, so then you do it. We'll use an example when you have a suffix. So what do? You do a mitzvah without a bracha.
Some mitzvah there of Sefira, he shouldn't do it because he can't make the bracha.
No, there mean that what you should do is first of all is you should have somebody else be moitzi with the bracha. But again, it's better, as I said, if there's a choice not to do the mitzvah, or to do the mitzvah without a, or to do the mitzvah without a bracha, so then you do the mitzvah without a bracha. But even according to this, HaOmer writes about this in Achiezer, it's more like that in the Gemara in Shabbos, that a bracha is part of the mitzvah. It's not just even on some things that brachas d'Rabbanan, their Achayim will discuss how it could still become part of the act of the mitzvah d'Oraisa. All right. Anyways, how did we get here exactly?
Even on such a small though, but you see that even on a chashash bracha, chashash bracha shouldn't take off. It's kedai to do mitzvah without the bracha.
Yeah, well, they're good because you have to do it. But that's true. But the answer to the question is, I don't know why the Mishnah Berurah says to do that. The only answer that I have is that maybe it works retroactively. Why should here work retroactively in other places not? I don't know.
But what type of mitzvahs do we have which come in two parts, one similar to the other?
Why is this two parts?
Because tzitzis are similar. Both are tzitzis, one tzitzis cut and one tzitzis gadol. They're both the same sugya. What other mitzvahs do we have which you could split into a major and a minor part?
What's it like, Tom?
Sukkah. Sukkah.
No, he's talking about two. No, that's extended. No, I understand. So this is true. This is true. And in Sukkah, there are those who actually discuss this kind of an idea. That could be there's one unit of time, and you set it on the whole unit of time. Can I put a mezuzah on my door and then make a bracha 2 days later? Is that okay?
Why not? Another door, be able to see the first one.
You could be yaitze if you didn't make a bracha on it. You could be yaitze even without doing that. But the question is does it work retroactively? Our question is, does it work retroactively? When do we say that it works retroactively? So the Shach, assuming you test in your Deya, discusses this question. Pashas, it doesn't work retroactively. And when a person makes a bracha in the middle of the meal, you started to eat without a bracha. So we say you make a bracha now, it doesn't help backwards. It only helps forwards.
It should depend on the bracha. The kvora is actually putting it up. That one goes. Lisa Tefe, you still meet that Tefe.
Okay. Tell you that in Shuvas Chavadas, he proves that there are some Rishonim who agree with you, and says that the mitzvah of mezuzah is only to put the mezuzah up. There is no mitzvah of having a mezuzah on your door. And he proves it from that lashon of bracha. The conventional wisdom is that you're makayim a mitzvah every second that your mezuzah is on your door. You just don't. According to him, just if it fell off, you have to put it back up. No, according to everybody, it has to be there the whole time. But the question is, are you being makayim a mitzvah by being there the whole time? So he wants to say that you're not Makayim a mitzvah, and that answers a question of a shachar, from the Kiveger. But that's not the accepted shot. The accepted. How do I know that that's not the accepted understanding? Because a famous Maimer Chazal that you all know, David HaMelech was in the mikveh, and he was beside himself because he had no mitzvahs until he realized that he has milah. So everybody asks, what about mezuzah? Well, what about mezuzah? He's not putting up mezuzah now. He just has it on his door. All right, so we hear from this question, which is the accepted question everybody asks.
Where the bathroom?
Yeah.
No,
In his house.
in his house.
His own door had a mezuzah.
What?
His door had a mezuzah.
Yeah.
I thought he was in
Are you, Lev, I want to ask you a personal question. Are you being Makayim in the mitzvah mezuzah right now? Are you being Makayim or not?
According to conventional
You say the same thing. You say the same thing.
Back and forth.
I think that they generally understood that all of us are Makayim mitzvahs.
Because we have it on our house,
Right, and that's how you're Makayim it.
even if we're not in the house. Or-
Even if you're here. If you went away, maybe if you went away, you went to America, you're according to Ricky Vega, you went to the Yerid, then maybe you're out of your house, you're not being Makayim it. But
your house has a mezuzah on it. That's not the mezuzah.
your house means the one you dwell in.
Or if I own it, I don't have to have mezuzah if I go away for a while.
The Pashtus no.
A long while.
Oh, go on. Right. If you have a home, a vacation home, okay, in the mountains, the Pashtus, when you're not there, it does not even have.
I can take it off when I leave in the summer and bring it back to the kids.
That could be. There's a question that you maybe have to leave it there because it became a Beis HaOitzer. And there's also a sakana of taking a mezuzah off. If you can't do it for multiple reasons. But whether or not, we're not supposed to learn Hilchos mezuzah now, but from the questions which I get asked often, Hilchos mezuzah, it's very common. Young couples, they rent, you say by a bris zakot and gadoliyah, so they rent an apartment which is zakot and gadoliyah. Now, many times these apartments are made out of something like the Kaddish HaKadoshim. It's somehow supposed to expand to fit all the things that are inside of it. And many times they're new apartments, and the chassan and the kala bring their stuff in before they get married, and then they get married. It's a new apartment, no one ever lived in there before. When should the mezuzah be put up? And when should the bracha be said? No, that's a chutz la'aretz. That's a chutz la'aretz. And Eretz Yisrael, you have to put it up right away. When they move in. What about all the stuff that's sitting there for 2 weeks? Now you have a machsan that you have stuff in it. Is it chayiv mezuzah?
Not if you don't go there.
No.
Do you have an office? Does it have a mezuzah? They don't ask you if you drilled there. Do you dwell there?
I spend 8 hours a day there. I don't sleep there.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear that.
Maybe he falls asleep there.
So why do you have mezuzah there if you don't sleep there? So why isn't the machsan called living? Okay, speak for yourself. All right. Anyways, the answer to the question is that in order to make a bracha, you have to live there. But even a school, a restaurant, any place where a person, to use the word, hangs out, and it's not a mokum bozli, you have to put a mezuzah. You just don't make a bracha on it unless it has certain criteria. So a storage house that a person uses and goes in all the time, he has to put a mezuzah there. So why shouldn't this dira be a storage house? So there are those places who say that it is, and therefore you're allowed to put up a mezuzah. There are those places who say it isn't. I have a friend of mine who is the son of one of the Gedolei Ador who was just nifter within the last couple of years, and he told me when he was a chassan, he rented such an apartment, and he asked his grandfather what to do, and his grandfather said you should be mafker the doorposts until the time that you move in. So I said, oh, they do that in brisk. That's a brisker trick. And not only that, you can say even better, it's not yours. Right? But, but what? Yeah. But I will just say, just on the question of mezuzahs, a question which I don't have the answer to. I was asked this year on HaOmer Pesach, all those people who rent they made a mechira mukdemet, mechiras yud gimel, or they went away for Pesach and they sold the whole house. Why don't they have to make a bracha on the mezuzah when they come back? Okay, I don't have an answer for that question. I have 2 or 3 answers. I don't have an answer that I'm 100% satisfied with. Anyways, let's go back. What? It's not the same reason. Because they don't sell the kalim, they just sell the stuff that's on the kalim. Here they rented the house, and it should be just like a person who sells his house to God and buys it back. He should have to make a new bracha on it. Anyways, I think we took care of Tamimas. Let's carry on. All right. What?
And he rents the house other than the doorpost.
Yeah, okay, you can do that. All right. Why don't we do it after Aleinu when you're finished davening? Because we're in a rush. So these words are words that people like Lev Seltzer is very troubled by. I mean, it's not a black and white thing. It's Yoser Primos. Either it is or it isn't, right? What does Mishnah Berurah say? It's Yoser, right? So that we have a shtickle problem with that, and I think that we took care of that problem.
Why do we say Tadir? Why do we say Tadir? Aleinu is Tadir. Tadir is usually Kodem, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, so this is actually, there's a Bachoikis. Why, when are you supposed to do it? When's the best time to do it? Is it better to do it early or not? Because they say Tadar, Shena Tadar, or not, or you should do the mitzvah more Mahudar. Yeah, I think that's the Bir Allah discussion. What? It's nothing. Aleinu is nothing.
I didn't want to say that.
But you're in the middle of davening. Aleinu is said at the conclusion of davening. Why Aleinu is said, I have a sefer in my house, which Yechiel borrowed one chelik. I have it at the second chelik of it, and it has a whole compilation of reasons why Aleinu is said after davening. What? But it's
probably trump
there's no suffix. You can be Yaitse.
Sure, but if I have a suffix derisa.
What suffix?
Sefiras HaOmer is a suffix derisa? Or
Let's say Tavana Deraisa.
Let's say Tavana Deraisa. Neged Aleinu.
What's not neged? You're Makayim. I'm in the middle. Excuse me. You know what? I'm going to fight fire with fire. And as soon as you finish Birchas Kriya Shema, before you say Shemona Esrei, you should count Sfira, because Tefillah is only D'Rabbanan, and Sefiras HaOmer is a suffix Deraisa. Oh, good morning.
Aleinu was added.
It's part of davening.
It was kind of pasted the Shemona Esrei for all those very good book reasons. But
Excuse me, it's called part of davening. That's the answer. It's part of davening.
It's the answer for that.
Why is it not? It's not that you finish davening and now you say Aleinu. They made this part of davening. You're not finished davening until you say Aleinu. Why? So he says we should, because I have a choice to go and be involved in saying my Aleinus for the day, or should I be Makai my mitzvahs for the Raisa? I said Aleinu is not my Aleinus for the day. It's part of my. Yeah, I never heard that Maimon Chazal. Anyways, okay. Because of that women have this custom to say it, and it became mandatory. And I think that's the way it was when I was a child. Nowadays, things have changed, and many women count. Why the Bavada Yitu B'Yamechad Gav Al Piroiv and Im Yodim Pirish Amilas. Neither of those two reasons are applicable today, as far as I'm concerned. No, I will say that there's a better chance of women making mistakes than men, because men daven in shul and women don't. So, the rabbim straightens you out, but they definitely understand what's going on. The kosher elbar laila le'nafik adayim b'kol hakosim tiyusyenu. Why could you do it? Because as long as it's still night, it's still called tmimus. It's just not as tmimus. It's not tmimus yosef. Okay. Now the Mishnah says that the Mechaber says it's a mitzvah lisbar ba'atzmo. What does it mean lisbar ba'atzmo? I have a mitzvah to wear tefillin. Can I have you wear tefillin for me? Why not?
It's on your body.
It's on my body.
You make kiddush.
I can make kiddush for somebody else. What about Sefiras HaOmer? Can I do Sefiras HaOmer for somebody else? Why not? What about kiddush? Is it the ideal thing to make kiddush for yourself or to be like to somebody else?
Shmak could work, but with Sefiras HaOmer, it's a cheshbon. So it's not just to the mirror that you do the yaitzi on Shmak.
That's nice. Very nice thought. Very nice thought. Okay. What? And the question is, what does lochem mean? You got to do it. Okay. So we're going to see. That is the Chaber Shulchan Aruch is coming to exclude such a possibility. No. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's good, right? So
the mitzvah is the counting. But the bracha is the extra mitzvah.
what was that about the bracha?
I'm saying that's why a person should count himself. That's the actual mitzvah.
Why am I not?
Like being empty somewhat.
Why not? When I want you to translate the words. Listen carefully to these words, and it needs an explanation. Shomeya ke'oinu. That's a good answer. What does it mean? Shomeya ke'oinu.
As if you said it yourself.
But the answer is that it's responding. Parrots, you hear? Remember me? Do you understand? What does it mean, Shomeya ke'oinu?
It's got a quirk, either as if you've said it.
So why did it say? Listen to what Gil said. It should be Shomeya ke'oinu. Is that really a question?
Obviously, it's not Shemaya HaOmer, because if it's like HaOmer, then I can't say it.
And why, if it's ke'oinu, why does that take care of the problem? It doesn't.
It's not like HaOmer.
Okay. I think the answer to your question is because HaOmer is. That's what Taisa said. My favorite word. Kit. That's the answer to the question. All right.
Midin shlichus, it could work.
I'm not sure what shlichus means.
It means like you send somebody to be Mekadesh and Isha for you, or you send somebody to do Mafresh Trumas and Masras for you.
I don't think so. It has to be that you did it. Here it's that much of a mitzvah shemagufa it is. Just with Shomeya ke'oinu, it can be like you did it. We have a way that we can do it that's like you did it. Okay. I'm going to stop over here.